Hello, this is Spartan Commander, and this is the 364th Rome Total War video that I've put onto YouTube. Just to say, regular viewers of our channel will know that every Saturday I try and put on a battle for you to watch. But unfortunately, Friday morning, my wife was scammed on the computer. What actually happened was she was on the internet, and all of a sudden the screen filled up with random numbers, and there was a box saying that this was a recognised Microsoft problem, and if she was to phone one of their technicians on this phone number, then they would be able to deal with it quickly. Being the trusting person that she is, she phoned that number, and a man on the other end, very friendly and helpful, identified himself as a Microsoft technician and said he needed to take charge of the computer to get rid of the problem. The wife said yes. He took charge of the computer and then put a real virus on and demanded £200 to take the virus off. Of course, she immediately put the phone down then, realised that she'd been scammed. And the only thing we could do then was to have our C drive completely wiped. Unfortunately, we hadn't backed up any files for a while, and we lost some very precious and sentimental photos when we had the drive wiped. But also, I had over 250 saved games in my save games option, and of course, unfortunately, they were all wiped as well. The reason I thought I'd tell you about this is I guess all of you are pretty switched on and aware of these type of scams, but you might have some relatives or friends who are not that aware. So please tell them about our experience, because being scammed and having to have the C drive wiped was not very good. There you go, there's where my save games would have been. As I said, I had over 250 of them there, but having to have the C drive wiped was the reason why they've all gone now. So I'm hoping to have some good battles during the week, so that I'll have a good battle to put on for you to watch Saturday. But as I say, due to this scam incident, as you can see, I've got no battles to be able to put on. As I say, it's quite upsetting. The wife's been upset and embarrassed by what actually happened, and was a little bit worried about going back on the computer. And as I say, if you have got relatives or friends who are not that aware of these type of scams, please tell them what happened to us, because I wouldn't like any of your friends or family to go through what we've gone through here, losing all that stuff we had to lose when we went on to have it wiped. Okay, so what I thought I'd do is I'm going to go through a few 31k army builds with you here, which I hope you'll find quite interesting. The first faction we're going to have a look at is Rome. As you say, we'll have a look at the more popular factions on the 31k battlefield. Here you see Carthage, Macedon, Greek cities there, even Britannia we'll have a look at, in Germania I think too. So we'll have a look at these factions and see what type of army build you could build with them. Okay, the best infantry unit on the Rome faction is the urban cohort. You say if you put gold shield, gold attack on there, you can see that they're about 520 denarii each. And I'm just going to show you the bog standard 31k Roman army there, and that is 14 urban cohorts with gold shield, gold attack on, and then 6 Praetorian cavalry. Okay, you can see they've all got gold shield, gold attack on, but if you put a stripe on 2 of your cavalry there, okay, there you've used all your money up. All the 31k now has been used up, and that is the basic of 31k army: 14 urban cohorts and 6 Praetorian cavalry. Now, this is a very efficient and effective army. That's why it's the bog standard one. This is what a lot of people use. As I say, very efficient, very effective. The more you start playing RTW, the more you might like to kind of customize your army and make it a bit different from what the basic army is. Like, you could have maybe a smaller amount of infantry and better upgrades on your cavalry, something like that. So what we do is have a look at the Praetorian cohort there. Now that's the next good unit down for the urban cohort, but it's 50 denarii less than the urban cohort. But if you see it actually on the battlefield, you'll see it's kind of nowhere near as good as the urban cohort. Okay, it's 50 denarii cheaper, but in comparison it is a bit of a shadow of the urban cohort. So I would suggest not to be tempted to bring that unit as your main battle line. Maybe as a pilot shield unit possibly, but the urban cohort is superior to the Praetorian guy there. If you look at the although the statistics don't show that. Okay, then you got the Eagle unit. Now remember, Eagle units will give morale to your troops, okay? But if you put a gold shield, gold attack enemy urban cohort against this unit, you'll probably find that this unit will lose, okay? So bring this eagle unit by all means, but keep it in the rear echelons of your formation. So it's giving formations, it's giving morale to your troops, but it's not actually in the main fighting line. And I would suggest you only put that unit into fighting as a last resort. As I say, it is a good morale-giving unit, but it's not good to put in with the against urban cohorts. Okay, now then we have a look at the Triarii unit there. Now this is Rome's anti-cavalry unit, right? But those of you that have been playing RTW for a long time have seen, even with really good upgrades, these units just can't seem to stand against cavalry. It says bonus fighting cavalry, but I've seen these units get hit head-on by cavalry and actually rout. So the Triarii units are not really that good, and you don't see them very often on the 31k battlefield because most experienced players know that they're not they're not that good. So there you go. So as I say, the really the best units are the urban cohorts and an eagle unit if you want to put at the rear of your battle formation. Okay, now we're going to have a look at the legionary cavalry. Okay, now these are Rome's heavy cavalry, one of Rome's heavy cavalry. They are a lot cheaper than Praetorian cavalry, but their performance on the battlefield reflects that. They are not that good cavalry. I've tried using them in the past, putting good upgrades on and stuff like that, but they're just not up to the caliber of the Praetorian cavalry. So I would say don't be tempted to take the cheaper heavy cavalry. Stick with the Praetorian cavalry if I was you, because from what I've seen on the battlefield over the years, the Praetorian cavalry are far superior to those legionary cavalry. Okay, so those of you that are looking to maybe want to spend money more on more elite units by bringing some cheaper units, I would say that possibly would be a false economy, bringing legionary cavalry against the Praetorian cavalry. Okay, so that's what I would suggest there. Stick with the Praetorian cavalry, and as I say, really they are a lot better. Okay, now we're going to go on to the Roman armored general. Now, up to about 8 or 9 years ago, we always used to bring this as our general for our Roman army until we switched to a infantry general. But yeah, as I say, up to 7, 8, 9 years ago, we always used to bring this as our general. If you notice that Brotherhood member Lee and RTW player Lee and Brotherhood member Uther, they still sometimes bring this Roman armored cavalry general. It's incredibly difficult to kill this unit, and you can use it on soft targets. You can even smash into enemy pilot shield units and cause mayhem, mischief and casualties and still not suffer any casualties. So this unit is quite a useful one to bring if ever you're thinking about doing something a bit different. As I say, all those years ago we did switch to infantry generals, but yeah, as I say, we did used to bring the cavalry general all the time there. Okay, so these are the units I would recommend for a 31k Roman army build. Definitely urban cohorts, definitely Praetorian cavalry, and if you want to bring an eagle unit for a bit of extra morale, please do, but leave it in the rear echelons of your battle formation and only throw it into actual fight in a last resort, really. As I say, up against urban cohorts, they're not that good. Okay, well, now what I'd like to talk to you about is experience stripes here. As I say, okay, so as I say, this is the bog, as we said before, this is the bog standard 31k Roman army here. As I say, newer players to Rome Total War that watch our battle videos, you might find this quite interesting there. So if you just build that army, that's, as I say, the standard 31k Roman army there, and if you build that, then that's an absolutely fine army, and you know, even veterans that have been playing for a long time still bring this army because they find it so good. Okay, so as I say, like a minute ago there, we're going to look at experience stripes here now. Okay, now you can put 3 experience, but look at the cost, 2,720 to put 3 experience stripes on. But those experience stripes are very, very handy. I'll just take you back to the Battle of Zama, where Hannibal's last battle against Scipio Africanus. Now, when Scipio's army attacked, most of Hannibal's army was raw recruits, and they actually towards the end of the battle started to rout and run, and only Hannibal's 3,000 veteran troops that he bought from Italy held the line. Now those 3,000 experienced troops there held the whole Roman army up until they were smashed in the rear by enemy cavalry. Okay, so experience. So this game gives you the chance of putting experience on your troops, and those experience stripes can make a big difference. Those of you that have fought against my armies or with my armies have seen how well my armies usually hold. My infantry usually holds against enemy attack, and that's because I tend to have experience stripes on a lot of my troops. That keeps them fighting longer. Okay, so for an experience stripe, gold shield, gold attack, 1,880. But of course, if you put a stripe on your units, then of course it's going to increase the cost of your army. Okay, so you've got to judge there what you want to do. Do you want to have a bigger army, less experience, or do you want an experience? Let's see. Can you see I can get 10 infantry with a stripe on? Okay, and 1 infantry there with just a bronze. Just a bronze defense on. So that's 11 infantry, and then 6 cavalry. Gold shield, gold attack, and an experience stripe. But is that a big enough army for the modern day battlefield? What do you think? Do you think 10 infantry, 6 cavalry, is that a big enough army for the modern day battlefield? Well, even though they've got all those experience stripes, it's going to keep them fighting longer. But up against an army, 15, 16 urban cohorts, okay, might only have gold shield, gold attack. Is that a big enough army? It would be up to you. It'd be your call. Okay, let's move on to Carthage. Okay, so if we look at the Sacred Band here, the Sacred Band infantry, spearmen here, are the best infantry unit in Carthage. You put a stripe on, so you got 27 defense, quite a big defense, 16 attack. I always would encourage you to bring Balearic slingers. They got a surprisingly long range, and they always seem to have loads and loads of ammunition. And then the Sacred Band cavalry are their elite cavalry, and you'd be surprised how well this Sacred Band cavalry does. It's very underestimated cavalry, but what I've seen it do on the battlefield, it's very effective. Okay, so that's the 3 main units of what you would use on the 31k battlefield. The rest of the Carthage infantry doesn't really cut it on the 31k battlefield, but the Sacred Band spearmen, the Sacred Band cavalry, and the slingers there, that's what I would suggest is should make up your main Carthage army. Very effective, very efficient. You've seen Carthage in action on some of our battle videos. Okay, let's move on to Macedon. Okay, the Royal Pikemen there are the elite infantry of Macedon. They say if you put a stripe, gold shield, gold attack on there, 1,658. Those phalanx pikemen. Now I noticed that some people that bring Macedon bring these units. They are 120 man units, these phalanx pikemen, as pilot shield units. Okay, now like we said in other battle videos, as long as they stand their ground, hold their ground, they'll soak up pilers as much as any other expensive unit. So they're quite good to bring as a cheap unit, just to soak up the pilers. You need your Cretan archers because of course 120 man units are extremely susceptible to missile damage, so I would suggest a minimum of 4 Cretan archers is what I would say if you bring Macedon, because you do need that archer cover against enemy archers who will try and target your pikemen. Okay, their cavalry are the companion cavalry. If you put a stripe, gold shield, gold attack on them, that's usually the type of upgrades I put on the cavalry. They're called the winged horsemen as well, because if you look closely you'll see they've got kind of wings on their helmets. Very effective, very efficient cavalry. So that's what I would so you want the Royal Pikemen, the Cretan archers, and the companion cavalry are the best units, and maybe bring a couple of phalanx pikemen, cheap phalanx pikemen with maybe a gold shield on, gold attack on as your pilot shield units. But definitely bring a minimum of 4 Cretan archers is what I would suggest. Let's say if you put a stripe on the companion cavalry, so you've got 14, 21 and a massive 9 charge. So that is a massive charge 9 on that. Okay, so as I say, the best units are the pikemen and the companion cavalry. Okay, so if you, this isn't an army that I bring, but I'm just showing the example here. You could bring 10 Royal Pikemen there, 3 maybe Phalanx Pikemen there as your pilot shield units. You could bring 4, as I said, a minimum of 4 Cretan archers, and then maybe you could bring 3 maybe fully upgraded cavalry if that's what you wanted to do. There you are, you can fully upgrade them. You've still got money left to spend, so why not put an extra stripe on your infantry general? Remember, Macedon's morale's low, so you need the general morale bonus there. And that's the type of Mastodon army that you could bring if you wanted to. The Phalanx Pikemen for the Polar Shield units, the 10 Royal Pikemen, and 4 Cretan Archers, and 3 fully upgraded Companion Cavalry. As I say, this is just an example of what you could build if you wanted to for the 31k battlefield. But of course, everybody builds an army that suits their style of play, so you'd have to kind of mix and match an army that suited you. But that's just an example there of what you could do. The rest of the units of Mastodon there, I wouldn't recommend you bring on the 31k battlefield. Okay, let's move on to the Greek cities, to the infamous Spartan hoplites. Now, a lot of you will know how good these Spartan hoplites are. And what you could do is you could bring maybe 12 or 13 Spartans. Then you could bring maybe 4 or 5 Cretan archers there. Depends on what you want to do. So there, see, in this particular army, I've got 4 Cretan archers, 12 there, now I've made up to 13 Spartans. So you could bring 13 Spartan units. You see, I've still got 910 denarii left. So if we, let's say, if I try and put my Spartans together with the archers on the end there, let's see. So 13 Spartans there, and 4 Cretan archers. Still got 900 left, so why not put an experienced stripe on the general? So if you put an experienced stripe on the general, obviously, like we talked about earlier, that's going to give that experience to that general unit, going to keep him fighting longer. And that is possibly a basic kind of Greek cities army there. 13 Spartan units and 4 Cretan archers. Now, as I say, this isn't an army that I bring, but this is just an example for maybe newer players to Rome Total War. You'll find this army quite solid. 13 Spartans with their 2 hit points and great specifications, and 4 Cretan archers to help your allies against enemy archers. Some people bring fast moving Greek cavalry to target enemy archers and things like that, but this particular army that you're looking at here is kind of like what you probably find as a standard Greek cities army. Very tough, solid, as I say. Armoured hoplites. Now these guys some people bring as a Polar Shield unit. Bring a couple of these, integrate it into your army, maybe 1 less Spartan unit, and bring a couple of these in. They got 26 defense, so that's a high defense there, and they've got quite good morale, so they'll stand in front of your main Spartan line and soak up pilers, which is what you want really, for what they can, you know, that's what you would bring them for, is that. But your Spartans, make no mistake, are your main fighting force. Okay, let's move on to Britannia. If any of you fancy bringing a barbarian faction, the chosen swordsmen are the elite infantry of Britannia, and these guys are surprisingly tough. I've used these guys quite a lot, and they're very tough. Also, you need to bring a druid unit. Now remember that barbarian factions morale is very, very low, so bringing a religious unit that gives morale to the troops is a great move to do, and the druids are very good. If you put them into chanting mode, you'll see that if you look at the unit, and that will give morale to all your troops. You got the head hurlers. Remember, these head hurlers are effective against armor. They cause massive damage, and also they bring a fear factor. If you see modern Britannia armies, you'll find that most modern Britannia armies have got 12 or 13 of these units, and maybe fully upgraded chariots. Okay, but they do really do so much damage, it's unbelievable, really. And then we move on to the chariots. Now, pound for pound, for me, the Britannia chariots are the best in the game. They got great attacking specifications, and they don't run amok. Okay, so there's the barbarian warlord, 1,880 or 1,030 for heavy chariots. The barbarian warlord, if you notice, got 5 hit points. The other heavy chariot has only got 3 hit points. But it's up to you how you want to spend your money there. Do you think the heavy chariots, bringing maybe 6 of them and having a good combination army with lots of units, or bringing maybe the barbarian general unit there, which costs so much more, the barbarian warlord one there, and then you might be able to have such a big army because it's quite cost restrictive. So it's up to you how you do that. But as I say, those chariots are the best in the game. And then you got this light barbarian mercenary cavalry. Now the only person that I see bring this with their Britannia army is Brotherhood member Uther. Now Uther makes really great use of these units. He hides them in the woods and then brings them out just at the right time to smash into damaged enemy units, take out enemy archers. He uses them really well there. So as I say, Britannia's got quite a lot of good units there, and if you thought about taking them, they would be a good faction to take. Okay, let's move on to Germania here, and if we look at Don't forget, as we said, barbarian troops are have got very low morale, so you need to have a good solid general that's going to keep giving the morale bonus. But also, like we said before, you need to bring morale giving units. Now the Screeching Women, now a lot of you might not have noticed this unit before. The Screeching Women give morale to their troops, okay? When they start screeching, they're giving morale to all the nearby friendly troops, and of course that encourages them to fight longer and harder. So bringing the Screeching Women is a good idea if you bring Germania. And you've got the Night Raiders. Now the Night Raiders are great infantry in their own right, but they also bring a fear factor, which lowers the morale of enemy troops and destabilizes those enemy troops, making them more susceptible to rout. You then got the Chosen Axemen. Now these guys are effective against armor, and used properly, as we've seen in other battle videos, they do cut wide swathes through heavily armoured troops. You then got the Gothic Cavalry, and these guys are very underestimated cavalry, and when you see them on the battlefield you'll see how tough they actually are. They've got a big 7 charge and they are extremely effective. We then move on to the infamous Berserkers. Now remember, the Berserkers have got 2 hit points, they've got a massive 19 attack, and if you put a gold shield, gold attack on, you can even enhance that attack even more. And they bring a big fear factor. They really drop the morale of enemy troops considerably, as I say, destabilizing those enemy troops and making them more susceptible for routing. In 31k rules, we only allow 3 Berserkers, because a good Germania general can still win with 3 Berserkers there. In the early days of RTW, people used to bring whole armies of Berserkers, and it was just a point-click win. So that's why we've put our 31k rules just 3 Berserkers max. So there's a good selection of Germania troops, and that's the best troops I would suggest to bring when you decide to bring a Germania army. Remember, those Berserkers, if you charge them, if you put your infantry, the Night Raiders and Axemen in first, then the Berserkers, then charge your cavalry in, hopefully with allied cavalry as well, you'll usually rout a Roman army that's in front of you. Okay, so let's have a look at one more well-known 31k faction here, and that's Seleucid. Look at Seleucid. Now what I would suggest you do is make, if you're going to have an infantry general, make it a Silver Shield Legionnaire. See, with fully upgraded, that gives them a 28 defense. And then your Silver Shield Pikemen are your main backbone of your infantry. They're the main pikemen for the Seleucid. Unfortunately, their archers are very short range, so they don't give a lot of cover to cover your 121 man units, are of course very susceptible to archer fire. And then you've got the Cataphracts and the Chariots. Now the Cataphracts have got a massive 23 defense before you even put any upgrades on them. And then if you put upgrades on them, as you can see there, you've got 27 defense and a massive 9 charge. So it just goes to show how powerful these Cataphract cavalry can be, used correctly. And then you've got the Scythe Chariots, and these Scythe Chariots got big attack potential. They bring a fear factor, destabilizing the enemy troops, but they do run amok. And remember what we've seen on other battle videos, when chariots run amok, they kill both friend and foe alike, and are a menace to both friend and foe alike. So bringing chariots is always a bit of a gamble. It's kind of a double-edged sword if you want to bring them. I would suggest probably better to bring the Cataphracts rather than the chariots there, because I've seen allies, cavalry and infantry get chopped down by amok friendly chariots, and that's so frustrating there. Okay, so just to say, I hope you've enjoyed this talk about some 31k faction army builds here. As I say, I hope to have some good battles saved for Saturday for you to watch. That Spartan Commander saying bye for now.